Daryl Densford, the Deputy Garrison Chaplain at Fort Wainwright, and I'm here with another installment of Water from the Well. Have you ever wondered if God was near you or where He was when you were going through some sometimes terrible things? Now, my wife recently had an experience that brought that to light for our family, and God really spoke to her and to all of us really through it. And I wanted to give her a minute to share that. I think it'd be better if she shared with you instead of me telling her story. So here's my wife, Holly.
A couple of months ago, my family and I went to watch the Yukon Quest. The Chena River is where they run the race, and goes right through Post. So we went down to watch the race, and Heidi and Daryl, my husband and daughter, went up on the bridge. And I wanted to go right down on the frozen river so I could be closer. So I had to go through some deep snow, and I went down to the river and climbed over the bank and onto the frozen river. And as I didn't go out very far, but I noticed there was a round place that had thawed and refroze. And about the time I noticed that, I fell through the ice. My arms were out, so my head didn't go under, but I don't remember being able to touch. And so I'm in the water, and I didn't know what to do. I tried to lift because my family didn't see me, and I couldn't call for help. I couldn't scream or yell. I was just trying to gasp for air. I was in the water. So I tried to lift myself out, and the ice kept breaking. And somehow, after about the third or fourth try, I thought, well, I'll lay half of my body out. And then I rolled to the bank as fast as I could. And then I grabbed onto some roots that were hanging on the bank there and tried to catch my breath and regain some strength. But then I noticed that Daryl had come down and was close by, not real close, but I could see him. And so I finally got myself out of the water, but I was really traumatized. I mean, I didn't know how I got out. First of all, I didn't want to go anywhere. I would have flashbacks, and I couldn't sleep at night because I'd wake up and I would be underwater, floating away, and so I was pretty afraid. And a couple weeks later, we had a ladies' retreat, and the speaker talked about, well, the main theme of the retreat was in a shelter in a storm, and she had us relive like an incident that happened that was traumatic, and then you ask God, where was He during that time? And so I did. I prayed and said, God, where were you when I was in the ice on the river, in the river? And He said to me in a quiet voice, I was in you. And I just cried. I knew that He had to be with me because I didn't know how I got out of that river. I didn't know that, what would work. I don't know how I knew to roll to the bank. I mean, get half of my body out and roll to the bank. That I didn't have a class on that. I didn't know how I did that. And then my husband helped me too. He preached a sermon about that time, about being in the center of God's will. And to know that I knew that I was here for God's purpose. I was here for a reason. Being with my family in Alaska was the center of God's will for me. And that helped me too, because I knew that God was with me. Even if bad things do happen, God's got me. He's watching over me. And He does that for you too. And so in these uncertain times, I think about the verses. My favorite one is that God goes before me, He goes behind me, and He hems me in. He covers me. And that's my favorite verse, just because that just tells me that God's always with me. And then there's another verse that's also really good. John 14:27. My peace I leave with you. My peace I give to you. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not be afraid. And so in these uncertain times, we can just be reassured that we don't have to be afraid and that God's always with us.
Thank you, Holly. I hope that you found encouragement through Holly's testimony as we have. And just remember, like she said, that in difficult times and times like these that we're in, even, that God is present. He's in you if you've received Him as your Savior. He's anywhere present, and we can trust that this COVID thing hasn't taken Him by surprise. The hardships, the turmoil that we're going through or maybe in right now, it doesn't surprise Him. But He's right here. He's right there with you. All you need to do is call on Him.